In 1984, artist Kevin Eastman and writer Peter Laird used a tax return and a small loan to form Mirage Studios. They then proceeded to publish a single-issue comic known as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The surprisingly dark and violent comic was a hit, and what was supposed to be a one-shot became a beloved series. In 1987, Eastman and Laird met with Playmates Toys to discuss an action figure line. Playmates wanted to do a cartoon as well, so once Eastman and Laird agreed, in 1988 Playmates launched the toy line and cartoon, which follows the adventures of four turtle brothers who mutate into a humanoid form after being covered in a radioactive goo called mutagen. They are then raised by their foster father and master, Splinter, who trains them in the art of ninjutsu. And today, we're going to be taking a look at Master Splinter, here on Creed's Collection. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Creed's Collection. Today we're checking out Splinter from the 1988 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy line by Playmates. Splinter has two different backstories. According to his original origin, he was the pet rat of the ninja Hamato Yoshi, who learns ninjutsu by mimicking his master from his cage. He is later mutated to a humanoid rat after being exposed to the same mutagen that caused the turtles' transformation. In the cartoon series, however, Splinter is Hamato Yoshi and mutates to a rat form from the mutagen. In both versions, he is the foster father of the four turtles, who he names after the Renaissance artists Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Donatello. He raises the four as his own sons and teaches them ninjutsu, and they in turn keep the streets of New York safe from the Shredder, Splinter's mortal enemy, and the evil Foot Clan. And now that we know a bit more about Splinter, let's take a closer look. Overall, I think Splinter is a very nice representation of his cartoon counterpart, even though his face is a little different. On the show, he looks a lot nicer and more fatherly, whereas I think the figure looks a lot meaner, probably because he has these all-white eyes that give him a really scary look. He's also got the black circles underneath and the really pronounced teeth. You know, for a nice guy, who would have thought that Splinter could be so terrifying? I never asked why they call you Splinter. It's a stupid name. What does it mean anyway? They call me Splinter because if you mess with my sons, I'll splinter your bones. You know, I think I hear Krang calling. I'm just gonna go. Haha, I made a funny. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, you did. My Splinter is a soft head, which is one of the original 1988 releases of the figures. Later releases had hard heads instead. Splinter has a hard plastic belt that snaps into place and it holds on his cloth goods outfit, which actually looks really, really good. Both his hands are molded open to hold things like his cane, and as you can see, the fur detailing is really nice. Down here, Splinter's amazing rat feet have cool claws and bandages wrapped around it, which is very ninja to me. I love how this looks. As we come around to the back side of Splinter, you can see that the cloth outfit looks really cool, how it bunches up together. I really like that. See, in particular, all these folds, it just looks amazing. Also, how they cut it to be jaggedy here at the bottom. They just did a great job overall. And underneath here, you can see Splinter's tail, which is really cool. They did the detailing where it's just skin with no fur. Looks very rat-like. Now we're going to take a look at Splinter's articulation. So here at his hip, he does have a 90-degree bend that goes up. However, the leg does not go back at all, as you can see. And Splinter's tail also has one point of articulation right there. It's a swivel. A ball joint would have been cooler, but that it moves at all is great. His shoulders can go up, of course, and around all the way full 360 if you wanted them to. And then here at his forearms, he also has a swivel point, which allows him to use his cane, or you can swivel it to hold his bow. Now his head can turn left and right, of course, and that's it. That covers all 8 points of articulation for Splinter. Now we're going to take a look at Splinter's included accessories like his cane. It's got a pretty nice wood texture to it. It's kind of hard to see, but it is definitely there. I think this is a cool accessory, except it's kind of obvious with the seam in it that it is a hidden sword inside. But still, this is a pretty sweet accessory to have a hidden sword inside his cane. I really love this a lot. Here he is holding it. You can put it in both his hands, but you have to put the bow in his left hand, so it's best in his right. And here he is holding the sword. I think this looks really cool. I turned the handle in towards his arm, and yeah, there you go, sword. Here's a look at Splinter's bow, which is all one piece. So it looks like you would be able to draw it back, but unfortunately you cannot. It seems as though the way it's molded that maybe they considered making it fire at one point, but changed their mind. But as you can see, it's completely fused together here on the end, so no chance. But I still like this quite a bit, and it looks really cool in his hand. Here he is holding it, and as you can see, it pretty much has to go in his left hand based on how the handle is. And here he is with his sword unsheathed and his bow and arrow. I definitely say Splinter is battle ready. Splinter had a few more accessories with him, like this weapons rack. So all his weapons came on this, and you would snap them off when you first get him, and then basically this is supposed to be a weapons rack after that. This is the only place really you can store the included ninja stars, right here on these two pegs, and unfortunately I don't have them anymore. But here's a look at them before they're snapped off of the weapons rack. As you can see, they're quite small, pretty easy to lose, but I wanted you to at least see what they looked like. It's kind of hard to see, but on the bottom of Splinter, there's the copyright information. 1988 Mirage Studios, Playmates Toys, made in China. Here's a quick look at Splinter's included file card. If you'd like to read it, pause now. And now for our He-Man size comparison. While Splinter is quite a bit smaller than He-Man, a rat humanoid like him would fit in really well in Masters of the Universe or with Thundercats. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my toy retrospective for Splinter from the 1988 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy line by Playmates. Can you believe it took me so long to get to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Yeah, me either, but hey, it's really exciting to get started on a whole new toy line. Splinter is definitely one of my favorite figures in the line, but Rocksteady and Bebop are also pretty sweet. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to get to all that. Don't worry. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up. And if you have any thoughts, please leave a comment. I love reading and responding to them. And while you're at it, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. It would help my channel grow. I do a retrospective on a toy from my vintage collection every Wednesday. So to see you next week and every week after, here on KREED'S Collection.